You have just entered the black hole of real estate. This is the place where you can get industry news, tips, tricks, some strategies, and maybe get a little bit fired up about what's going on in today's market. I'm your host, Ron Wojciechowski, and now that you've entered the black hole of real estate, you're probably not going to want to leave. So, welcome to episode number 20. And yes, I am fired up in a big way. So many people are calling me to talk about Zillow. I have no idea why Zillow is so popular. It just is. And it's not going away. So if you're a real estate professional and you're fighting the good fight to make Zillow go away, you may want to direct your energy some other place. I can assure you a couple things are going on with Zillow right now. They continue to put out Zestimates to help people price their homes. Yeah. Look for the air quotes in one of my videos, but let's talk about that today, about how Zillow helps you price the homes. Let's take a peek behind the curtain and just get behind the mechanics of what Zillow really is and what it does, why it's successful and why it's maybe just a little bit off. And then at the end, there's this mini agent controversy going on about the use of Zillow. So we're going to have an action-packed Zillow broadcast today for episode 20. Buckle up. I'm ready to roll. So the first thing I want to talk about is Zillow all by itself. It's providing Zestimates, and for some reason, a lot of people think that these are the best estimates out there, and they think that if Zillow says it's worth $250, well, by golly, it's worth $250. Except for maybe it isn't. And again, the air quotes are out there. Maybe, just maybe, it's a little bit off. Now, why do I say that? Well, I sold more than 1,000 homes in recent years. And I'm here to tell you that the Zillow estimates, they're not always correct. In fact, they can be off by quite a bit. You know, it wasn't that long ago, a couple of years back maybe, when one of the higher ups at Zillow had a property that was zestimated at $1.6 million, which is kind of cool. And it sold for $1 million. Of course, I wonder if he was really searching for that missing $600K in equity, but maybe he didn't mind. Maybe he made enough money over there. It didn't matter. What we know is that Zillow estimates can be off. A personal property that I sold not too long ago, a couple of years ago, about the same time as that tragic sale. Great sale for the Zillow rep. I was looking at a Zestimate of $220, which would have been cool, except for guess what? Either I'm really skilled, really amazing, or the $255 I got was because the market was a lot higher than the Zestimate. So I'm ready to take a lot of credit for being an amazing agent, but I'm pretty sure that the market price was $255 all along, and maybe the Zestimate was wrong. Let's face it. What they use is an algorithm. Zillow's never been in a home. They have no idea what upgrades you've done. They don't know if it's pristine condition, mint condition, or maybe it's moldy or just smells in there. And maybe it has pet odors or hasn't been renovated. See, it's just a computer program. There's no eyes, there's no ears, or context. Just X's and O's, ones and zeros. It's a computer program. And is that how you really want to price your home when you're trying to maximize your return on your investment in that property and get the most amount of money for your? You see, I think I would want a real estate professional decide that. But, you can make your own decision. If you want to trust a computer, that's cool. If you'd like to talk to a real estate professional, and by the way, I do recommend you do that, then that's a lot to think about. You know, the other thing about Zillow is that really just doesn't factor in the desirability of your property's best or maybe your worst features. It has no idea about what's going on in your community. Maybe there's something coming up nearby, the new Amazon area where they're going to delivery system. Or maybe, there's some other big thing, like maybe the space program is coming to your neighborhood that might affect your values and maybe perhaps make it go a lot higher. But the computer program's not going to anticipate that. They're just going to look at the X's and O's, the cost per square foot, regardless of condition. They're looking at square footage, bedrooms, and bathrooms. And if you remove the condition part of it, do you think you're getting the right value? They have no idea what's going on. Yet people, they cling to these values. And if one more person calls me up and says, but I know my home's worth $255 because Zillow said so. I said, great. Let me come out and take a look at it and see if we can determine that value. There's times I want to walk in and I do want to be honest with them, but when Zillow tells me that it's worth $255 and I'm thinking, geez, that's a $300,000 property, I'm thinking of buying it. We want to be fair with our clients, and all we're saying is use Zillow. It's a great place to get information, but I wouldn't solely use that for only, the only resource to price my property. What I actually would do is just take it into context for what it is. It's a great place to search. There's great mappings. It will help you with things. But then when it comes time and you really are ready to sell your house, you're going to need the real numbers, not a guesstimate, certainly not a zestimate. When you borrow money, the bank is going to pull your official credit score before they make an informed decision whether or not to trust you and lend you that money. I think you want to make an informed decision before you sell your home for perhaps too little or price it way too high and be stuck on the market for 6 months or a year. And by the way, in the hottest market that I've ever seen, I don't think I'd want to be priced wrong. I would want to take advantage of it. Bottom line, take those instant home values with a grain of salt and never base an important real estate decision on numbers provided by one of these websites, Zillow or otherwise. Go ahead and keep your eye on real estate investments. I'm using instant value tools, like Zestimates. But in the end, hey, call a real estate professional. Go to their website, have them come and actually go inside your home and see all those great features and get the right price on that property. So, that's just me just getting fired up about Zillow Zestimates. It's up to you. Do you want to trust a computer or a pro? Your call. The next thing that we want to talk about has to do with just taking a peek behind the curtain. And Zillow is really just a website that's designed to sell ads, and they sell those ads, guess to who? To realtors. It's a crazy thing, but the NAR somewhere along the line decided it was a good idea to share a lot of information with websites and portals and basically give away the farm. Nice job, guys. So what evolved out of this is Zillow makes a blank ton of money every year by just selling the information back to the agents. The agents actually put this information in the MLS for properties they're about to sell and all the sold statistics, and they basically, hey, here's our numbers, use them against us. So when you go on Zillow and you're looking at properties, a couple of tips. When you see like a picture of 3 agents, you know how they got there? They wrote a check. All the listings in the MLS went up there and 3 agents wrote a check and they're all vying for your attention. So when you click on one of those, they get charged a few bucks and then you become their lead and they'll call you. You see, Zillow sells your information to those agents. A pro like myself in real estate, I'm not selling you information. I'm looking to provide uncompromised value to you. Zillow's just selling you out to the highest bidder. And those 3 agents are vying for your competition. They might all call you. So when you click on something, you expect a bunch of phone calls. There actually is in a really fine small print. You can also say, contact the listing agent. So if you want to reach the listing agent for more information, you certainly can click right through onto that one. Or better yet, just call them. But Zillow's going to, if you go through their system, they are going to track your information and they use it not against you, but they're going to sell it. So the highest bidder will get that. So those 3 agents are not necessarily the most qualified to help you with the pricing or selling at home. They're just the one that paid the most. So think about that the next time you click on a picture on there. What I might do is check out the reviews in the profile, and that is helpful. If somebody has, no reviews, but they keep showing up and keep showing up, it means there's a lot of clicking going on, but no one's happy enough to give them a 5-star review or any star review. I'd look at the reviews as well. And there's a lot of places. You can just Google it and also get information about top agents in your area. So, use your resources. Take a look at that. Another thing, when you look behind the curtain at a Zillow, and, by the way, Realtor.com and all these other websites, they do the same thing. The home lights, they all do the same thing. And, since I don't invest in these portals, I'm not worried about getting kicked off of them. Just know what you're getting into. You're clicking a button, you're getting information, and you give them your name, your phone number, and email, and they sell it. They do sell it. So the next thing I want to talk about is this nonsense about pre-foreclosure and foreclosure on those websites. And then I get the phone calls. I want to buy this foreclosure, and I want this property. I can see it on Zillow. Well, that's great, except for it's not available. They're just systematically pulling public records. In the homes you see on there says pre-foreclosure, they're reading public records and see that homeowner missed a payment or 2, and they're in the pre-foreclosure process. And it can take 6 months or a year or never for that property to actually be for sale and available. They give you a Zestimate, and they tell you it's pre-foreclosure, And now you think, well, I can have it for that price. The fact is you can't. They still own the house. And unless the bank goes through the entire foreclosure process and there's no workouts available or there's no any kind of a deal to keep them in the home, they still got to take it back, put it through attorneys, do all kinds of paperwork, and then put it back on the market. And with low inventory right now, it's probably going to be going to highest and best offers anyways. So the back door, the secret listings, the secret foreclosures, it's a mirage. They're actually not available. And you can't imagine how many people click on those on a daily basis and call, say, I want to buy this house. It's a foreclosure. Like, actually, it isn't. I would just say this. Don't be duped into clicking on a button that says, check out foreclosures in the area, or pre-foreclosure, or Liz pendants, or any of those things. If it's not on the MLS, it may not be for sale. It would be a rare and extreme case. I would say this, find everything that you want on a Zillow-like website, and then cross-reference it with a local real estate professional whose website updates, in real time, and only shows that properties are available, and avoid the disappointment of clicking on what you think is a great foreclosure deal only to find out that it's not for sale. Does that feel like a bait and switch? Click, click, click. They sell that information, but keep putting your name and phone number in there. I'm sure you don't mind all those extra phone calls, helping you buy properties or at least showing information properties that you can have. Yeah, I'm not upset about it. I just feel bad for the consumers that call me up and, if they want to get mad at me, that's fine. I get to be the one that tells them, yeah, it's not for sale. Sorry you spent all that time falling in love with that property and looking at the pictures that were pulled out of some website from 5 or 10 years ago. I'll let you down. It's not for sale. In Florida right now, it's less than 5% of the homes are actually foreclosures. I think it was like 2 or 3% at last look. It's not much. Back in the heyday, 2008, 9, and 10, probably 70% of the market. Right now, you're more likely to get a good deal or a great deal from a motivated seller that isn't a foreclosure that just wants to move. So think about that the next time you're trolling for foreclosure, some magical deal. It's a hot market. The sellers are controlling it right now. And the best thing you can do is find the hidden gems out there. Now, there is this mini controversy brewing. And I put a post out online just to ask, agents in our market and people that I know is what's going on with all those Zillow calls lately? And I'm really coming from a place of curiosity. And what I really asked was just my fellow real estate professionals. I was genuinely interested in learning your feelings about the number of agents using platforms like Zillow, contacting our office for general questions on our property listings. And I wonder if I was missing something, because I'm getting a lot of calls from agents that are going onto Zillow, clicking buttons about our listings. And I'm thinking this information is available, 99% of the time right on the MLS that they belong to, that they're paying dues to. And that's where you get the most accurate information and all the agent notes and all the inside stuff, because you're a licensed professional paying your dues. You get all the inside stuff. And I can't understand for the life of me why so many agents, this is many times a day, click the Zillow button to set an appointment or to get general information. It's free, it's paid for, and if your MLS was open, you can type in the address and in milliseconds have all the information. So to take the extra step of contacting me through a third-party website, I would say it's laughable, but it's a head scratcher, and I'm seeking to understand if there's just a genuine shift in the way that agents prefer to communicate with other agents, and maybe they'd rather use Zillow instead of the MLS. I guess I can save MLS dues and just join Zillow, but I don't think I'm going that direction. I think most agents aren't doing that. But if it's a shortcut, maybe it's well-intentioned, but maybe ill-advised. So if you're a real estate professional and your current habit is to click on Zillow, use that to contact a listing agent, a couple things. I received, a few dozen comments about this. One said, hey, Ron, you're not missing anything. Agents are just, getting lazy and dumb. They don't want to look it up for themselves and are too dumb to know what they're reading. Well, that was a little harsh, but, agents are looking for the best commissions and not looking for the best education. That was a rough comment on one of my things. Now, it wasn't directed at me. Another one said that I've been noticing a lot lately that agents are also contacting me via Zillow. It makes me think that their client might be sending them to that link and they just saw it on Zillow, and rather than do their job, they just reach out through Zillow. Okay, that was a little harsh too. Now, I will say that I'm a member of 6 MLSs, and in our area, there's multiple MLSs. So if you're not cross posting, you could easily have an agent that's just 10 miles away that isn't a member of your board, but maybe their board, because there's 4 in a really tight area over here. And unless you're cross posting and belong to all those MLSs, there are agents that won't see your information, so they're going to look for it. In Florida, they have what they call MLS Advantage, but it doesn't always list the contact info for the listing agent. So, in defense of it, I'm not pointing a finger at agents being bad. We're seeking to understand what's going on with the agent community. Some have noticed incorrect information in Florida realtors' websites. So if you're an agent, they are recommending that you check your information to make sure it's updated to local. I mean, this information has been there for years and years, and there's a lot of places to check. So if you change brokerages once in the last 5 or 10 years, you might find that some of your information has not been updated. That could be a reason that agents are using portals like Zillow to find you, because your information never got updated. Sometimes things slip through the cracks. Now, you do have out-of-area agents using it to come into an area, and I guess that's all well and good, but is the guy that's living 3 hours away going to drive into your market for one day, going to show a few houses? Is that agent necessarily the most skilled and most on top of the local values, or are they just driving 3 hours for a paycheck? So if you're working with an agent and they're going to meet you and drive 3 hours to get there, if they used to live there, fantastic. If they got top agents in the area or resources, that's great. But I would really want to vet that to make sure that the person I'm meeting, are they an expert in that local market? That is part of our code of ethics, is to make sure that we know and understand what it is that we're helping to sell or pass it on to someone else or refer it out. I can also tell you that it's just fascinating. Some old school agents were just trained differently. And even out-of-state agents were chiming in about this, which really had my attention. There was one that didn't want to reward lazy behavior, so they don't respond to agents contact them through Zillow, and they feel their information is easily available on the MLS address book. And now, understand that some states, they have only like one MLS for the whole state. I think we have 50 or 60 in Florida. So if you're in the recruiting business as an agent, it could be just education and training. A new agent may not know what they don't know. They may not realize that your information is in a local MLS or an MLS Advantage. There's a lot of ways to reach that listing agent outside of Zillow, and it just could be a coaching opportunity. And if you're looking to grow your team or your brokerage, as you get those calls, rather than get mad at that agent, you might just think, well, geez, here's an opportunity to have a conversation with somebody that might benefit from the training that we're offering in our place. It's just an alternative thought. I don't have all the answers. I don't want to have all the answers. I can tell you this. A lot of agents are frustrated because this is the pay for play thing. When you're paying for leads on Zillow as an agent, whether it's $2, $5, or $100 or $250 a lead or whatever the heck it is, there's some really expensive leads out there when you're paying per click. So when you pay for a click and it turns out to be an agent just trying to find information about a property, that kind of steams more than a few agents. I'm lucky. I don't invest in something like Zillow at a high level. I can tell you that I spend more money on coffee every month than I do on Zillow, but I know agents spend 10, 20, 30,000 a month. That's not me. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just chosen not to do that. Maybe one day I will, but right now I'm not in that market. What I can tell you is if you get a snarky response from an agent or somebody a little bit upset with you, it's probably because they paid $100 or so for your lead only to find out that you weren't really a lead. You were just a realtor looking for information. So, hey, the Zillow thing, it's alive and well. It's a hot topic, and why not? They've got a big stock valuation. They'll probably take over the world, but right now, they're not quite there yet. There's a lot of mini controversies brewing. Here's what I can tell you. If you're a consumer and you enjoy working on Zillow and using that, keep doing it. No harm with that. It's a great place to get information. It's not a bad website at all. But when you need the most up-to-date information to make a decision about buying or selling a home, I think it still falls to the local professional that's in the market, that's in the houses every day, that knows it better than any computer program. But that's just my 2 cents on that. This is Ron Weiss-Sikarski for the Black Hole of Real Estate. And yeah, I'm fired up this week. Click or comment below. Let me know how you feel about this whole Zillow controversy. Until next week.